Hey there, friend. Have you ever wondered, can my book actually be picked up by a traditional publisher? Well, I am here to give you permission today to keep that dream alive because I'm going to be introducing you to a wonderful woman who recently had her book, her very first one, picked up by a traditional publisher, and she's going to tell you exactly how she did it. My name's Kelly Notaras. I'm the founder of KN Literary Arts. We are your one-stop shop, getting you from wherever you are to having that book in your hand. So visit us at knliterary.com and don't be afraid to sign up for a call. We'd love to talk to you. I also bring 25 years of publishing experience in the US publishing business to this channel for free. So please hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so you never miss a video. I am super excited that today I'm bringing you the wonderful Danica Banes, a brand new author who, just like you, had a lot of questions about what it would take for her to find a traditional publisher to pick her up. But she decided it was time, she was going to give it a try, and lo and behold, she won. She got a publishing deal with Hay House, which is the largest spirituality imprint in the world, and she will be published sometime in 2026. So this is a very exciting call that we had. So I hope that you pay good attention to all the things that she did right that got her that book deal, so you might get one for yourself.
I'm Danica Banes. So I am a psychic medium and a spiritual mentor. I offer private sessions. I do mentorship. I do a lot of workshops. It's very focused on really empowering women, especially highly sensitive women.
What led you to decide you wanted to write a book, and what did you do from that point onward?
I think like most of us who are writing books or have written books, it was something that was always there. It was like this piece of me that I always wanted to write a book since I was a kid. Again, I didn't think that I had permission to write a book because I didn't go to school for writing books and I wasn't, in the world of writing, and I didn't have like a literature background. And so it felt really out of reach. It felt really far away. And then as I was going through sort of this process of seeing myself and really like an inward journey of me and, my purpose in the world and what kind of impact I want to make, I felt really called to write the book. I didn't know what the book was even going to be about. It was just like, I feel like I have to write this book. And so not knowing anything, I had joined, I think it was like a free 4-day writing challenge that like you and Hay House had put on a couple of years ago. And that, I have to say, was so valuable. Like I learned so much just in those 4 days that I, not having a background, I just didn't know. And it felt more attainable. It was like, okay, if I do this and, my story matters, then I can write a book. And so it just felt like it was broken down into pieces that where having no knowledge before, it was just so big. You think of people writing a book as like, they're incredibly talented and they, live in the woods and all they do is write. So I was like, oh, maybe it's not like that, and maybe I can do it.
Prior to that workshop, had you understood you would need to put together a book proposal in order to find a publisher? No. So can you just give us like, what is your relationship to the book proposal? Like, did you like putting it together? Like how did you feel about that?
I did enjoy putting it together because it was another sort of tool that gave me clarity on,
Yes.
what I was writing. Because when I left that workshop and I was like, I could do this. And, I have an idea of what I want to write. And I started writing, but it was very kind of messy and disorganized. And, with the proposal it was like a blueprint of you need this and this and this and this. And you have to like really get yourself organized and get that clarity. And so for me, yes, it was tedious, it was, there was a lot of like me, walking away from my desk, like I can't do this. But every time I came back, I would look at it and I would say, oh, wow, like this makes sense. Like, it all made sense. So I would say it was both a learning process and a creative process and, a necessary process that I didn't know.
I mean, the thing that you're talking about is so important. So a lot of people find what you said to be true, which is that writing the book proposal is where you figure out what your book is.
Yeah.
Because you have to get specific about it for the first time. And sometimes people will sit down and they think, oh, I'm going to write my book. and they haven't actually mapped it out and created that blueprint for themselves, and it's very hard to start when you just feel like I'm supposed to be writing my book. So I love that the book proposal helped you just like winnow down what the actual idea was and then
Yeah.
know what each step was that you needed to take.
Absolutely. I found that if I had not done the book proposal, I think I would still be like rewriting chapters and confused.
Tell us a little bit about your decision to work with KNLA and which services you did and what you got out of that.
I read your book,
Oh, great.
so, which was another kind of tool that it just broke things down for me in a way that I needed. You know, that's how I think, and I'm very visual, and it just made sense. So, and I had joined the writers community, which
Mm-hmm.
you
Yep.
were involved in as well, and so it was kind of like a natural progression. I
Mm-hmm.
had found so much of what you talked about in all of these areas to be so valuable. I took the leap, and I got, it was amazing. I got paired with my book coach, who was such a good pair. And we went through the proposal process, and I had submit to the Hay House contest.
Yep.
And with that proposal, I got an honorable mention. So it was really validating. Like all of that
Yes.
felt like necessary steps, but also, incredibly helpful and valuable steps to get me where I wanted to be.
Assume, resubmitted. Did you do any additional retooling before you submitted again, since you didn't win the contest the first time, but you did win the contest eventually?
I did. When I submit this year, I looked back obviously at last year, and I went through everything. And I saw even in the year like how much I had grown, and I had really applied myself to building the platform, which was like the thing that I was kind of resisting
Yes.
the first time around. And then
Mhm.
this time around, I understood the value of it. And so I had really focused on that. And yeah, I had changed bits and pieces of the proposal because the book again had kind of morphed as we
Mhm.
were, within that year of writing. So yeah, there were definitely some changes, but for the best, I guess. So the book largely, if I had to give it like an overall theme, is about self-silencing in women. And what I have kind of learned through my own journey, but then also with working with women, and a lot of research for the book, is we kind of have this tendency culturally, and we're sort of conditioned to suppress a lot of stuff that is not deemed, you know, acceptable, not like the good girl model. So the book is really for women, and specifically highly sensitive women, because there is a layer to being highly sensitive and kind of absorbing criticism in a deeper way, or feeling like in order to protect ourselves, we want to avoid all conflict and not ruffle any feathers and all that stuff. And what we end up doing is really swallowing our truths and, swallowing our anger and all of the things that don't fit maybe into those boxes. So it's very tailored at women who resonate with that sort of experience. The message is obviously not for everybody. And the more that I can kind of fine tune and tailor who I'm talking to, the more impact I'm going to have, the more reach I'm going to have, versus just like talking to anybody who will listen.
What would you say was hard about putting the book proposal together? What was the hardest part?
Oh, the marketing. The marketing, because that's not, that doesn't come natural to me, so
Mhm.
that was really, again, like with the platform building, the resistance piece for me, because I think even in entrepreneurship, right? Like early on, it was like, nah, I'll sell myself, the right people will find me, or like whatever we tell ourselves to avoid
Yes.
doing like marketing and sales. So writing and really researching and understanding that side of not only business, but a book was just very new to me.
What was the best part about working with a coach?
I am the kind of person that I work best if someone's holding me accountable. I can kind of flounder or not stay on track, or but if I know someone is waiting for me, if someone is like, where are those chapters? I'll be like, all right, I got to focus and get these chapters done. Otherwise, my own timeline just keeps moving, and I'm like, I'll get to it. So, in terms of actually writing a book in this lifetime, I felt like having a coach was very valuable. But there were tons of additional things that I didn't know,
Mm.
that you can research and learn and read about, but having somebody explain like a marketing section to you, or like how a book proposal is really like a business proposal. It's not
Yes.
just about your idea and your story. There's so much more that goes into it. So having someone kind of hold my hand and explain these things to me.
When you are asking a publisher to take you on, you're asking them to invest in you like a small business. So, would you go to a venture capital firm and just say, hey, look at me, I'm great, give me money? No, you're going to lay it out very carefully and you're going to be super focused on how you are going to help them make money because
Right.
that's the only reason why they're investing in you. And that is the marketing sections. And I do think that they are the place that trip up most first authors.
I think the biggest thing that I probably knew but was kind of fighting at that time too was just the permission. Like nobody's going to come forward and be like, you can write a book. Like it's time.
Right.
You have to kind of find that inside and be like, you know what, I can write a book, and I'm going to give myself permission to at least try,
Yeah.
and see what the process is like, and see if I love it and this is for me, or maybe you hate it and like your book dream was not really a dream.
Right.
So I
Right.
think it's just kind of not feeling like it is something so unachievable, something like only for other people that they get to write books and you don't, but just understanding like if you have a story and if it matters and you have people that it will impact, just giving yourself permission to at least start and try.
I love that. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Danica. Where can people find you if they want to follow you and watch the progress of your book coming out?
Yeah. So I am on Instagram. My handle is danica.banes. And then, my website is my name, danicabanes.com. And that's where I have basically the bulk of all of my stuff and my story and, my services. So
Wonderful. Well, we will put all of that into the description below. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and just letting people see a little window into a dream come true. And I look forward to tracking as your book goes through its process and comes into the world.
thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.